Question 7 is about converting units. So once again, as we talked about up to books, if we want to convert units, we need to be really careful with our unit fractions. And because of that, we include them in the thing that we write down. So I'm going to try and write my numbers in green, my units in red, and my functions each time in blue. So I'm starting with 540 meters per second. I want to end up in a minute writing a number, that's meters per minute. I want shortly to write a number that is in units of meters per second. So in terms of what I want to do with the units, I need to get rid of this divided by minutes. So when I multiply, I'm going to make sure that minutes end up on the top of my fraction over here. If I've got minutes on the top and minutes on the bottom, those two will cancel out. I will have cancelled out the minute unit. In my final answer, I want the seconds, so I'm going to put the seconds on the bottom here. So now I can see my unit fraction, meters per minute times minutes per second, will give me meters per second. So all I need to do is multiply by the number of minutes in 1 second. This is that peculiar phrase that we use, the number of minutes in 1 second. And the way I remember it is by saying that 1 minute is the same as 60 seconds. So I multiply by 1 divided by 60. If you were thinking to yourself that you divide by 60, well, yes, that's another way of looking at it. This means that my answer, which I'm going to write in green, 540 divided by 60 is 9 meters per second. If you've written it like this, we're not too badly off. We've probably answered this question, however, to 2 significant figures, so I think our answer should be 9.0. Second one, we'll try to stick to the same system. 0.50 kilometers per second. I eventually want to write my answer in the number of meters per second. So when I look at my units this time, the problem is the kilometers on the top. So I'm going to multiply. I want this kilometer unit to disappear. To do that, I'm going to need to put it on the bottom half of the fraction. My kilometers I can see now are going to go. The seconds already there, they're fine. But the thing I need to introduce is the meter. So I need to multiply by the number of meters per kilometer. Number of meters per kilometer, hopefully remember, is 1,000. So this means my answer should be 0.5 times 1,000. So that is 500 meters per second. Last one, where we're going to put both ideas together. We've got 15 kilometers per hour. I'm going to put HR for hour. And we know that eventually we want our answer written in meters per second. So there are 2 conversions I'm going to need to do. One to sort out the time, one to sort out the distance. The distance one works the same way as it did previously. We've got kilometers here. We don't want kilometers here. Let's get rid of them by dividing. We want to replace it by meters, and there are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So if we left it here, we'd be in meters per hour. That's no good. So we also need to change the time unit. Hours are at the bottom here. So to get rid of this hour at the bottom, we put the hour on top of our fraction over here. The hour we want to replace by a second on the bottom, so we're going to have seconds on the bottom here. How many hours are there in 1 second? Well, not very many. We remember it by saying 1 hour is the same as 3,600 seconds. Remember, this comes from the idea there's 60 minutes each of 60 seconds. So I'm going to do 15 multiplied by 1,000 divided by 3,600. If you thought I could just divide by 3.6, you'd be right. That gives us a value of 4.16 recurring. Looks as though we're looking at 2 significant figures. So a good value for the answer in green should be 4.2 meters per second.